Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, has announced that she is set to return to her homeland in December of this year. And this has created a major political enthusiasm not only in her home country but also across South Asia and also the globe. And I have with me today Engineer Muhammad Ali Siddiq Saab, who happens to be the Secretary General of the Bangladesh Human Rights Watch USA and also the former officiating Secretary of the Bangladesh Awami League US. Today we are going to discuss about what are Sheikh Hasina's plans for executing the return and what exactly is the global community thinking about it. Sir, thank you so much for sparing your time and speaking to India Abroad. My first question to you, Madam Sheikh Hasina has again reiterated today in her first interaction with journalists, a direct interaction with journalists, I would say, after the uprising, that she is firm that she is going to return to her country in December and that she wants to return because her country is suffering and she wants to be with them. How do you see this situation and what do you see the reaction of the people that is going to be in Bangladesh? How do you see the people of Bangladesh taking this announcement from Sheikh Hasina?
You know, Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina declared last NDTV and Reuters interview, and millions of people are enthusiastic right now to welcome her, especially the middle class and the lower middle class people, those who are suffering day to day their economic burden and the bad lifestyle right now. So they compared with the Yunus regime and the present Tariq government. So they are thinking and they are publicly giving their opinion that Sheikh Hasina was the best and we want her to get back. So my feelings and understanding, the recent poll shows more than 60% people are the supporters of Awami League. 70 to 80% people love Sheikh Hasina. So her announcement and today's interaction with this, the wonderful gatherings of the international, correspondence club, this, foreign correspondence club, I feel this is going to give a big buzzing to Bangladesh and the rest of the world where the Bangladeshi community lives, and the foreign residents, they are thinking and announcing to go back along with her on the same day to Bangladesh, and millions of people will welcome Sheikh Hasina while she is going to go to Dhaka airport or any land port, wherever she is. So I believe it's going to give a big momentum to the people and give the company to Sheikh Hasina, and no able power could stop her for her homecoming.
Talking about the human rights situation in Bangladesh, and Madam Sheikh Hasina has specifically emphasized that about 10,000 people have been killed, 6,000 have been jailed, at least 3,500 cases have been slapped across the spectrum, whether it is journalists, whether it is Awami League supporters, leaders of the Awami League, or farmers, members of the intelligentsia. How do you see the situation as the chief of the Bangladesh Human Rights Watch in the USA, and what do you have to say to the government of Bangladesh at the moment?
Presently, dire consequences are going on in Bangladesh. It started in 16th of July till date.
Right.
And when the Yunus regime took over power illegally, unconstitutionally, they started, the killings of the supporters of Awami League. They termed as the fascists,
Right.
Sheikh Hasina and her supporter. So, in the way like anybody, the supporter or her family members associated with the Awami League, they are catching them, they're beating them, they're killing them, they're doing the rapes and atrocities exceeded the history of Bangladesh. So that trend continuously going after Yunus regime gone and the BNP, Tariq Rahman took over the power, nothing changes. It is the continuity of the same government, have the highest violation of the human rights of the country.
Even we witnessed that children have lost their lives, and a disease as manageable as measles is not being able to manage by the BNP government. Some of them have been blaming it on the Yunus regime, that rather than focusing on governance and ensuring that children are vaccinated, Yunus had other plans, Yunus had other priorities, which is why the children of Bangladesh are suffering. What do you have to say on this situation?
No, I want to mention like this because Awami League government ruled 15 years and 7 months. During that period, they managed wonderfully this vaccination, and Gavi, the international organization, awarded Sheikh Hasina the vaccine lady. Vaccine lady. When she left the country on August 5th, she left a huge budget. It is more than 41,000 crore taka in the health ministry, on particularly for the vaccination program. Yunus regime, 17 to 18 months stay in power, they changed the policy to get the financial benefit, not to buy vaccine through UNICEF. They wanted to open tender system, want to buy, and they spend money, nobody knows on what purpose, on the 14 different medicines and the vaccines, particularly for the children, were allocated. There is no fund when the BNP took over power. Where this fund gone? Besides that, they did not procure any vaccine. They did not give the vaccine for the infant. So, over 1,000 children died in the meantime, lack of vaccination. And it is the epidemic, biggest epidemic in Bangladesh. So, we blame firstly Yunus government, the corrupt Yunus government, the funneled those funds to foreign countries as money laundering. And when the BNP come to the power, they are giving the surfacing cover up to Yunus government, not even take any measures. All the hospitals are full of these children suffering and dying every day. None of the health ministers or the prime minister visited them. So this is the history of Bangladesh. It is the biggest catastrophe for killing the innocent children.
Sir, talking about the way Bangladesh's foreign policy has also undergone a significant change under the Muhammad Yunus regime as well as the BNP regime led by Mr. Tariq Rahman now.
Yeah.
Now we are witnessing that there is another axis that is developing to the east of India, which is called the China, Pakistan and Bangladesh axis. And naturally, there have been concerns raised from the Indian fraternity here. Want to ask you, how is the global community going to take this declaration by Madam Sheikh Hasina to return? Do you think that it is going to be taken positively by some countries, and do you think it is going to create a major unease within the backers of the BNP regime, especially Pakistan and Turkey as well?
I agree with you fully. The foreign policy of this government, especially Yunus government, shifted from the direction Sheikh Hasina's government was going through. The main foreign policy was, friendship to all, malice to none. So on that basis, she handled the big power US, Russia, Japan, China, India, the way like the friendly relationship, and they did the business as well. So the Yunus government come to power, he first declared at the airport, threatened to India that if India did not comply with our government, we're gonna destabilize the Seven Sisters, the first threat over there. Then he shifted the policy, he moved toward Pakistan, he moved towards Turkey, Qatar, and such other countries, and trying to do foiling the history of Bangladesh as a secular country turned into a radical Islamist country. He released all the fugitives, convicted felons, terrorists, those who are punished by Sheikh Hasina's government, released all of them.
Right.
So now, Tariq Rahman's government took the same path, even more. They, coming the ship full of unknown products. We suspecting those are the arms and ammunitions or something importing from Pakistan, from Turkey, from China or other countries without inspection from the ports getting entered to Bangladesh. They are making new deal from China. With the China, they want to make the factory for the drone.
Right.
And the same way, Turkey want to build up, the what is called the factory for arms and ammunitions in Bangladesh.
Right.
So, making the neighboring friendly country India as a hostile country, and it could be a threat for the border area of this, this.
And especially since
nation.
Bangladesh is landlocked from at least 3 sides.
Right. And this policy might gonna get the hostility and the thinking like that Bangladesh might gonna be the playground of the US. The first time they are doing the joint, what is called the exercise, military exercise in the southeastern part of Bangladesh.
Right.
So their presence not only the threat, the another threat that Yunus government made a business deal with the US that none of the commodities you can purchase from any other countries without the permission of US.
Right.
So LNG, wheat, soy products, medicine, weapons, arms, anything we cannot buy besides the permission of US. So it's gone into a colonized country. So that country, I don't know, that high-priced wheat, high-priced LNG are purchasing from India, purchasing from US. It is going up to the country like we one time under British rule, we spent like almost 200 years. We got into another trap under this big power US, and Yunus was their puppet.
Right.
And the same path following by this BNP and Jamaat government. Bangladesh would turn into another colonized country, no freedom, no sovereignty would be there.
In fact, there was a very major report by the Bangladesh Human Rights Watch which said that how it was the US that invested a lot of money to ensure that there is a regime change in Bangladesh.
Right.
And in fact, the details of the report said that the foreign funding from the US side had remained flat in the early 2000s, but it had increased after that, and it had reached its topmost level just ahead of the fall of Sheikh Hasina regime in 2024. That is a huge investment of millions of rupees was done to ensure that there is a regime change in Bangladesh.
Right.
And the allegations were that the US had a major role to play because it was the US that was pumping the money for a regime change.
Yeah.
After the fall of Sheikh Hasina and the rise of Muhammad Yunus and the radical elements in Bangladesh, do you now see a change in the policy that the US is following towards Bangladesh? And how do you see the US now reacting to Sheikh Hasina's possible return to Bangladesh?
Very important issues you said that as we learned from the mouth of the President Trump, Donald Trump, the US President, that he mentioned in a speech that through USAID, $29 million was given to Bangladesh for political landscape,
Right.
strengthening the political landscape.
Right.
We don't understand what is the landscape strengthened by $29 million. Then another chunk was $21 million.
Right.
Altogether, we found out the $50 million was given to Bangladesh
Right.
to de-stabilize the government, pursuing the heads of some intellectuals, some NGOs, journalists, singers, whatever the university teachers or so on. Those can influence the people. So they mislead, falsify, give the wrong hope to the youth, and to mitigate the what is called the discrimination for the government jobs. So nothing changes, rather ousting the Sheikh Hasina's government, who turned Bangladesh into a beautiful, developing nation. It could have been a graduation held this 2026 this year through the United Nations, and it stopped. Now gradually going to, as Shagib Joy mentioned, that this is already a failed state. So present government of the US made huge changes. They shut down all this funneling the funds for the stabilizing the foreign government. They shut down the office of the USAID all over the world. So the other things is that they are trying to beat the what is called the CIA, the what is called the IRI, so NID. Those are the organizations got some government fund, federal fund, they utilize that. Those are the government not listening them, or their interest to fulfill, putting pressure. So they made it, especially Donald Trump made huge changes. I learned that they started communication with the Awami League, that the US government made a huge mistake overthrowing a democratic elected government, and the rise of terrorism, the what is called the elimination of the secular community, free, fair, participatory election system collapsed totally, no judiciary, no free press, no policing. The police system totally collapsed in the country. So 17-18 million people of the country, Bangladesh is the world's highest densely populated country. It's might gonna turn into a famine. That's they are looking after, and recently US top diplomats visiting Bangladesh, and they started a conversation with different section of the people, including the Awami League leaders. So I am seeing some changes. Potentially might gonna happen something within this year.
Sir, given that you yourself have mentioned that the US ambassador to India is also the US special envoy to the region, Sergio Gore, had visited Bangladesh very recently. He's also met the Indian High Commissioner there. He's also met the Bangladeshi Prime Minister Tariq Rahman. He's also met the State Foreign Affairs Minister Shama Obaid and the Foreign Minister Khalilur Rahman. Now, given these meetings and the developments, do you see that this is because the US is rethinking its policy towards Bangladesh, and do you think that there is any possibility that the US may also tend to sort of ward off the Chinese intervention in Bangladesh, which we are witnessing, especially after China taking over the very strategic Mongla port of Bangladesh?
You rightly say that momentum seems like shifting to the sides, because Sergio Gore's recent visit opens eye for many of the analysts, and we don't know actually what the conversation went on. But the news published that he also met one of the Awami League representative, Sabir Hossain Chowdhury, some other quarters of the community, and their policy definitely shifting because the Chinese intervention over there. As you mentioned, that recent visit of Tariq Rahman to China, he offered China to invest in Tista barrage,
Right.
for the conflicting project with India.
With India already.
With India. The Chinese wanted to build their drone factories in Bogura.
Right.
In what is called Soyedpur, they want to build Turkish ammunition factories.
True.
So those are the alarming situation inside India's. Bangladesh is like a stomach.
Right.
Three sides surrounded by the country, and the what is called the insurgency of the border system already started. Rise of the ISIS, Hizbut Tahrir and the other terrorist groups, they openly, doing their procession, free hand, and they're threatening to turn Bangladesh into a Sharia law. So, the very latest, the chief of the army, Wakaruজ্জামান, he quoted one of his speech. I surprised that he wanna do establish all over the country. He mentioned that lack of the Islamic faith, that the very term he mentioned that it need to be established a Sharia law, because he belongs to Jamaat-e-Islami or similar mind.
Right.
Recently he changed his attire, his face, he got the beard, and such other way he put the pants, to the knee, up to the knee, that Islamic philosophy or something. Being the army chief, it gave a wrong message to the people. I feel that Bangladeshi people, in one side, pious, but they are not fanatics. They don't tolerate radical Islam.
Right.
So Sufism is the best peaceful, the harmony of the all faiths in the country, and that was the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, made this country. The one basic principle was the secularism.
Right.
So they are destroying this entire system. I believe the US government, watching every single move and seeing that the Chinese invasion in Bangladesh through BNP government and the Yunus government, some of the same ministers, like the foreign ministers or the cabinet secretary, or such other actors are, imported from US, or still they are acting on the front line. So it might gonna get a big shift by the US, because they don't want to lose their interest on that Indo-Pacific region.
So do you think that there is some support for the Awami League and Madam Sheikh Hasina within the US, whether it is the senators, whether it is the congressmen? Do you think that there is some level of support coming from there?
I hope so, because during Yunus regime, 5 congressmen sent a letter to the Yunus administration, warned them what the consequences might going to happen, because it defined the democracy, rule of law, uphold the human rights. It cannot run the country like that way. They threatened him to stop it. I believe the present US government should imply such way, and some senator or the congressman, those we are day to day providing the information, what's going on over there. It is alarming for them as well. So it might gonna have some changes. Awami League will get some benefits out of it.
Right.
That is my feelings.
Right.
And it could be some sense of message may come to Sheikh Hasina from the western part, especially US, that she got the courage to go back to the country by December.
You mentioned courage, and this was going to be my next question. There is a lot of bravado, a lot of courage when Madam Sheikh Hasina says that I am going to return to my country. Where does she get it from? Is it from the people? Does she have that level of confidence within the people, within the possibly 1/3 of people, the public of Bangladesh, whom she still feels will rally after her if and whenever she reaches to her homeland?
Yeah, she is no doubt it. She is the most courageous, confident leader and the daughter of the father of the nation. She risked her life many times as she returned Bangladesh during General Jia on 17th May 1981 and 2007 during the military-backed government.
Right.
She is unopposed, and this time she got the vast majority of the people's support daily during this what is called the digital social media.
Right.
So the reaction you can see the people's, I believe that is the most biggest strength she got it from. And the third thing, that she did not care about her life. She always took risks. More than 25 times she were attacked for the assassination.
Yeah, she herself said that she was attempts of assassination were made.
To death, and she can take any such of challenge. So the people, those who do not care about her own life or his own life, nobody can stop them. So she can be die, she can go to jail, she can face her death penalty, but she is unopposed. I believe that is the biggest strength of the power from the people's support to her.
In fact, I've spoken to a lot of Awami League leaders also who are staying in exile, and they're very, very buoyed, they're very, very happy, they've welcomed this announcement by Madam Sheikh Hasina. But they've also said that if somewhere down the line this doesn't happen in December, it is going to send a very bad message within the Awami League cadre. Do you think that there is any possibility of this not happening? Because it is a big question, because a lot is going to be involved and invested in that homecoming moment.
Yeah.
Not only the confidence of the Awami League cadre, the confidence of the Awami League supporters, but also it is going to send a big message to the Bangladeshi public. But there is a lot on stake for her personally, because she is herself admitted she might get killed, she might get arrested. So do you see that this is a firm step that is going to be taken by her, or do you think that it is possible for a change as well?
She did not give any specific date, as she mentioned today as well. She has a target to go back by December.
Okay.
My feelings and understanding that in politics, nothing happened mathematically calculated method. It might be happen by December or earlier, or this date might gonna shift, because nothing is absolutely fixed or firm on the politics, because the geopolitical issues, what powers, what countries support whom, based on the political situation day to day changes. So it could have happened even earlier. The thing is, yesterday I was watching some Bangladeshi women are on the street for the procession, that lack of gas supply, they could not able to cook, staying overnight, waiting for the gas coming, then gonna cook. So this kind of disastrous thing never happened while Sheikh Hasina was in power. She provided electricity 100% people. Gas supply was the first priority to everybody. So that kind of public unrest could have happened on the street. Even recently, as a big what is called agitation by the students happened. You saw. So nobody knows that even before December, the government cannot run, cannot manage, because comparing Sheikh Hasina, she was the best manager, disaster management or crisis management. No one in South Asia proven like her. So I hope even by December something happen and she's gonna go back.
16 December is the Bangladeshi Victory Day, and she is herself said in her interaction today with the media that It is going to be a very important month for the people of Bangladesh and also for her personally and also Awami League especially. So can we expect her to reach Bangladesh before the victory day, on the victory day or around the victory day? How do you see that happening?
My feelings and understanding the sense she declared that she would like to celebrate the victory day
With the people
or
of
with the
Bangladesh.
people of Bangladesh in the land of Bangladesh.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I would also want to ask you about, what is your message for the current BNP regime vis-a-vis the foreign policy that it is following, especially because you yourself mentioned that under Sheikh Hasina things were a little more easier for issues to be managed. We have witnessed that during the West Asia crisis, India has supplied huge amount of fuel to the Bangladeshi government via the friendship pipeline that was started under the Sheikh Hasina regime. And
yes.
still we are witnessing that there have been overtures towards China, and Mr. Tariq Rahman visits Malaysia first and then China, and he is yet to visit India, even as an invitation from the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, is still pending with Tariq Rahman. So in that scenario, what is your message for the BNP regime? What would you advise them when it comes to the foreign policy? Do you think it is beneficial for a country that is almost surrounded by India from three sides to give more priority to possibly a neighbor which has not had very comfortable relationship with India over the past few years?
What I would like to conclude the way that Tariq Rahman was exiled. He is a convicted felon, stayed 17 years in UK. He came back. He does not have any experience to rule the country. So, by the what is called the son of Khaleda Zia or Tariq Rahman, Ziaur Rahman, he inherited this position, became the Prime Minister. Mostly the Home Minister, Salahuddin, running the government.
Right.
Seems like he's the spokesperson. This inexperienced, very poor merit of Tariq Rahman, he barely completed higher secondary education. He was expelled many times during the high school life. He was a notorious kid. So he could not manage economy, could not manage law and order situation, and none of the country in this world except any communist country could run not giving the opportunity to the opposition in the field. I believe their foreign policy should be given Awami League lifting the ban, giving their space, negotiating with them, give a midterm election or such way. Not Jamaat-e-Islam is the BNP's friend. They could get any chance to kick out BNP government. So Awami League is a democratic party. Secularism is their best principle. My advice to be to change the momentum, not to make enmity or hostility to the neighboring country. India is a vast, powerful country as well, and toppling that one, inviting China, inviting Turkey, inviting such other Pakistanis as a failed state,
Right.
could not satisfy her government. It would be a congenial atmosphere. Give the free, fair election. Let people choose their government, whoever who being elected, because previously there was like one time BNP rule, another time Awami League rules, that based on the verdict given by the people. So that's democracy established all over the world, and India is the largest democratic country in the world. And I believe this country never ever have any military rule.
Right.
So Bangladesh is turning into a Pakistan, that the military rule their day-to-day system. I believe Tariq Rahman should open a discussion with Awami League leaders and give this space. I believe that could bring the country a peaceful again, and with the experienced, honest, creative thinker Sheikh Hasina could help it out.
As of now, they have not reached out to you. There have been no discussion between the Awami League and the Tariq.
So far I know
and
that
BNP.
there is no communication channel, there is no mediation or something. That's not healthy for the democracy.
Right. Sir, my last question to you.
Yeah.
India has invited the Bangladeshi Prime Minister Tariq Rahman to attend the BRICS summit, which is going to be a very big summit in India in September. That is scheduled for 12th to 13th of that month. What do you advise to the current Prime Minister? Because there's been a lot of discussion, and certain editors and media that are friendly towards the BNP regime say that he might not attend the summit. What are your thoughts about it? Would you advise him to attend the summit to ensure that at least this, this connection between India and Bangladesh and the relationship is improved?
My advice might not going to be reached to them, but through your media, what I am saying that recently I read an article that Tariq Rahman going to visit US for 10 days. If it happens prior to, he might gonna get some good advice, go back, because American and India have a good friendship, bilateral relations. Defying India, if Tariq Rahman do not want to visit here, because he is in the chair, Bangladesh is in the chair right now.
Of the BIMSTEC.
BIMSTEC. And Prime Minister of India invited him. I believe he should take it. He should take it, come it, what is called the break the ice and make friendly relationship. As you mentioned that India not even turned off any switches of the gas supply through the pipeline.
In fact, we've
not
helped
even
Bangladesh
turned into
with
the
all the
electricity
fuel
from
that we could.
and the commodities as well.
Right.
So they are trying hard. So far I heard through one source that the Indian government want to see the newly elected Tariq Rahman's government for 1 year.
Right.
They might gonna rectify, they might gonna understand the message, they might gonna do something, and India sent a vast experienced political high commissioner to Bangladesh. I think he understood and negotiated.
That reflects the
very
importance
better.
of the India-Bangladesh relationship.
Dinesh Trivedi.
Right.
I hope it might gonna start melting ice.
So clearly this was Engineer Siddiq Saab sending out a clear message to the BNP regime led by Mr. Tariq Rahman to ensure that the country continues to have a good relationship with another major neighbor which surrounds Bangladesh from 3 sides, and also to open channels to maintain communication with the Awami League. So thank you so much Siddiq Saab for this interview and this in-depth conversation. We'll keep bringing you more such interviews, more such talks for our global audience. Stay tuned and keep watching India Abroad.